This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by DocuSketch, the quickest, easiest, and most accurate documentation tool for your restoration jobs. Cut your cycle times in half by using their all-in-one app to capture 360-degree video tours, request enhanced sketches, share field documentation, or get insurance-compliant estimates. DocuSketch is already used in more than 40,000 claims per month. To find out more, head to DocuSketch.com. Hey Restorers, welcome to this episode of the Restoration Today podcast. I have a very familiar face on with me today. He and I actually have our own podcast on the side every once in a while. Not as often as we would like, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to have Phil Rosebrook here with Business Mentors. I am sure if you are anywhere on the internet or exist at all in the industry, you have seen that Phil is launching a brand new conference called the Rebuild Conference, and it is all centered around technology. He has this kind of really innovative, forward-thinking idea about a conference, and he is giving it a go, and it is everywhere. I don't think that you can miss the promotions about it personally. I don't think so. But Phil, thank you very much for joining me. So I'm going to toss it over to you, and first introduce yourself just in case there are people in the industry who don't know you, and then we'll talk some about the conference.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Phil Rosebrook, President of Business Mentors. I've been in the industry for about 36 years and spent 10 years in the trenches, and the last 26 years working with restoration companies, helping them create a vision and a plan for where they're going in their business, and then taking that plan off the shelf and walking them through that to execution. So kind of change agents. And so that's who I am. That's my background. I'm a restorer by trade and a consultant by profession these days.
Perfect. Okay. So what inspired you to, one, start your own conference? Because that in and of itself is a conversation. And
Yes.
two, how did you pick the topic? How did you know that this was the direction you wanted to go?
Yeah. Good question. I think that my inspiration was a moment of insanity or a lack of situation. I don't know what the word is, but man, it was, the reality is this is okay, we'll start back. It was the very beginning. I've been writing my trends article for the last 15 years in the Cleaning and Restoration magazine.
Yep.
And my number one trend for the year, I do a lot of research and I look at what's impacting restoration companies. What are the big drivers in the next 12 months? It's not, I don't look 10 years out. I'm like, okay, what are people going to expect right coming at them? And this year, my number one trend was technology. And it was this concept of if you aren't using technology, you're at a real disadvantage. If you are using it, then you can leverage your company and you can drive forward and make substantive change in your business. And you need to be looking into this and doing this in your business. So given that, I woke up, so the article went published so I think I wrote it in December. And then in January, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep. And I started thinking, gosh, you know what? There's no venue, there's no opportunity for restorers really to get this data and information. There's lots of trade shows, there's lots of things going on in the industry and places where you can encounter technology, but nothing has that theme of these are the solutions and this is how you use it in your business. And in something that was kind of agnostic, like if I'm in the Verisk world, I'm in the CoreLogic world or wherever, they've got lots of technology there. Even in the RIA, there's technology everywhere. However, it's almost too much, and it's without the taking. I remember talking to Paul Donald within Circle, and I said, "Hey, Paul, I have this idea," and he said, "Phil, there's too many trade shows going on in the industry. However, he says, I know because you're doing it, I'm going to support it." And so, in Circle will be there. Paul Donald said, "The reason I'm going to do this is because I know you'll take the strategic approach to technology." And I think that's the challenge is that when you go through any trade show and you walk out there and you see all these opportunities, you say, yeah, I could use that. Well, that would make a difference in my company. So now all of a sudden I have 15, 20 different ideas that every one of them in itself will make a difference in my company. However, which ones do I take a look at? Which ones do I integrate and implement into my company? And how do I make a plan? What does this look like? And so the first half of the day from the general sessions, we're going to be talking about strategic application of technology. I thought about going and bringing in a keynote speaker, and then I started thinking about, like, wait a minute, I have limited speaking spots. I really want this to make sense to everybody who's there. I don't want them to come out and say, rah, 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 I'm excited. I get the vision, I want them to say, I have a plan and I know how to assess those solutions that can all be beneficial in my company. How do I figure out which ones integrate with the other ones? How do I figure out what integrations make sense or whether it is of value to my company or an important element? So we talk about integrations and we talk about technology that can change your business and make a difference in helping you scale and grow your business. And so my inspiration, which is a really, really long answer, was the magazine that or the article in Cleaning and Restoration on trends in technology and how that makes a difference in your business. And then a sleepless night, and then months and months of really going through the process of assessment. Does this make sense? Should we do this? How do we do this? Kind of all this kind of evolved, ebbed and flowed, and it caused me to get a bit of a late start. But at the same time, I also realized that the amount of work you do at the end is it's always going to probably be the same. And as Lucy from Logic told me, she says, "Hey Phil, just so you know, just be prepared for this. People don't sign up for these events early." So she says you will get most of your registrations at the tail end of this. So anybody listening to this, please don't do that to me. Sign up in September. Get your room. It's a one of a kind conference, and I've really got some great contributors, sponsors. I've got great speakers that are going to bring things that help you scale your organization. And I think that one of the things that I look at is, can we take technology and can we help grow a company by utilizing the resources that are at our fingertips to either remove steps in process, to speed the cycle time, to help me scale my company without having to scale my staff, because finding people has been really, really hard. And so, which goes back to my trends previous years, was labor. And so if we can now use technology to cover some of the labor issues, then I think that we can help companies grow and make that growth process a little bit easier. So kind of gets me kind of that's what kind of came out of my mind to make this let's say a reality, and push rebuild to the forefront and start moving forward with a full-blown restoration technology conference.
Okay, so you've hinted on the agenda a little bit, but talk a little bit more about like
Mm.
the structure of the show. Are there breakouts? Is everybody together? Is there a trade show floor? Is everyone together? Those kind of questions.
Ooh, yeah, good questions. Okay, so first question, no, they're not breakouts. I do general session, and breakouts are hard. First of all, it's hard to manage, and also now all of a sudden everybody is moving around from room to room to room, and as a presenter, maybe I'm presenting 3 or 4 times so I get my idea across. So what I did is I took from a presentation standpoint, I'm doing panels on a stage, and then I'm doing shorter general sessions. So you don't sit there for a whole hour most of the time listening to a single speaker. We're going to try to put things into a formula, saying, real hard hitting, short format. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell. Here's what I'm going to tell you this, and then here is some actionable stuff you can take away. And so it's a single session, and then we're doing panels and we're doing individual speakers, and just with the general theme of technology, I think we don't really need to break it out to get the same effect. Then it's a neat venue in that I have my dog visiting me. That's one of the joys of working from home. Hopefully, she doesn't knock over the knock over my podium here. Anyhow, so the venue itself is basically you got 2 large ballroom areas. One is going to be dedicated to the trade show. The others can be dedicated to just the general sessions, and that takes up the majority of the open space in the hotel. And so there's not going to be 5 other events going on or multiple floors. We're all in the same location, and actually it's just down the hallway. So you got your breakouts, or your breakouts, but you get your presentations, and then you walk past a courtyard, and then you go into the trade show. So everything's right there, and it's a neat location. It's up in the hill country in San Antonio, so it gets us a little away from the city. If you wanted to cruise on down to the river walk, you can do that. But the nice thing is, I like that everything's kind of dedicated to our event at that space, and so it should have some solid networking opportunities where both the providers, but also people who have this technology focus and what are they doing in their business can sit and have some conversations, because they're not going to be running to some different venue or staying at other hotels. Everybody should be kind of packaged into the same area.
Mhm.
And if you want to come early, go to the Riverwalk, go to San Antonio, go see the Alamo. Great, go do that. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, hang out and learn a lot about technology. And then we also have a workshop. I'll tell you about that if you want to know more.
We do want to know more. Tell us about the workshop, Phil.
Perfect. Yes. Great. You should ask, Michelle.
Yes.
Um, so Rod Cruz with Trifecta Leadership is going to be doing a leadership workshop the day before on Monday, and it's going to be really around taking the ideas of how you create leaders in your organization at all levels of the organization, not top down, but creating leaders and leadership opportunities. And so that's going to be tied into the event. And Rod is actually going to be on the main stage speaking as well. He's got a great formula for implementing technology in your company. And Rod's got an interesting background. I don't know if he'll talk about it, but he's been placed up in some high levels in some of our military services. And so he'll talk a little bit about AI and machine learning uh, with that kind of that perspective. And then somewhere else, I also am working with Know How, and we're trying to bring in a speaker on cybersecurity that also potentially has some connections higher up in I don't know if it's government, yeah, within the government. So Leighton's telling me he's just not sure; he hasn't got them confirmed yet. But I think that as we get this connected world and everything is communicating to our systems, to our clients, to our data, that cyber is such an important element and people overlook that. And I've talked to people, it's not a big deal till it's a big deal, right? And so what's your plan? What's your plan, and how do you secure yourself when every one of your people in your company has a cell phone, and there's phishing attacks, and there's really evil elements out there trying to get data? So cybersecurity is part of what we're doing as well. So
That's a great topic and always pertinent to all of to yes. Okay, so we've talked a lot about agenda and the workshop. So and yes, Rod is an Army Ranger and skydives, like a world champion skydiver, which is
yes.
crazy. So he does have a lot of insight. So I'm sure that that's going to be a great pre-workshop.
Yeah,
Okay, speakers. Do you want to tease out any speaker announcements? Maybe by
sure.
the time this rolls out, there will be some more
Well,
speaker announcements. But go ahead.
yes. Okay, so a couple of them. So the first one is my keynote is going to be David Ellings and Leighton Keeley. They're going to do a Q&A on how you strategically uh, approach your business investments, where you look at return on investments, and where you look at how you can um, create a plan for your technology in your company. And so that's going to be a kickoff. And David says, "Hey, Phil, I'm not a technology guy." I said, "No, but you're a strategist." And I think that's really important, because keep in mind, what's my focus? My focus isn't, I don't want to know what's going on in 10 years. I want to know what's going on today.
Yeah.
So I've got some data analytics discussions, trying to look at how do you create, what's the power of your data and information? How do you get better information in your company? I've got a session on estimating,
Mm,
and so I've got potentially some very, very, very high up, as high as you can go, speakers from a speaker from Verisk, as well as a lead speaker from ATI and Actionable Insights, talking about how to use the systems that are out there in order to improve your profitability, improve your speed, improve your accuracy in your estimating. And that, if you can just add 3 to 5 points on every single estimate, that's cash to the bottom line in your company. And that's a great way in which you can do that. Uh, I've got a new session, or a session from a new provider, and I just think this is an interesting trend. Jody Scarlett with EcoClaim, and
okay. Yep.
EcoClaim has helped figure out how one of the biggest carbon emissions or carbon problems for insurance companies, and however you think about this as a restorer, isn't as relevant as the insurance companies are required to fulfill certain metrics on basically limiting carbon and carbon emissions. And Jody will be discussing how restorers play a real big part in eliminating that challenge or risk to insurance companies, and then potentially even selling back some. I don't know. We'll see if she talks about this, but maybe potentially selling carbon claims credits back to the insurance companies to the work we do. If they didn't do that, and one of the things I know they're working on, and I don't know the process to do this, but quantifying how much we save when we dry a building versus replacing it. And those are really big. I mean, that could be big numbers and big opportunities. So that's kind of a session that I'm looking forward to. Kevin Dooley's got a discussion, and this is one of Kevin's passions. He just knows that through technology, we should be able to scale our workforce. And by scaling our workforce, we create a higher value workforce, higher value worker, and we potentially could be creating a career path for restorers and utilizing technology. You know, one of the things is the pain for all restoration companies is this constant turnover at the tech level. It's hard work. It's a hard job. And so if we can start eliminating some of that through the technology, because we have a higher skill set technician, that's a real opportunity. There's some sessions on field entered data technology. So if we take out the administrative level of having to manage information coming from the field, getting to the final bill process, that would be pretty darn effective. We're saving steps. We're improving our support for our billing and data, and then able to bill faster, collect more, be more efficient, take steps out of the process, reduce cycle times. So what else are we going with this?
A lot.
I think that's probably high level. Yeah, I've got 15 sessions, I believe. And so each one of those, again, goes around that theme of reducing cycle time, improving profitability, removing steps from process. I do have a couple open spots, which I've got some, there's some vendors that I'm talking to and some people that I'm trying to get to commit on certain ideas because I like the idea. So if you go online, you go to rebuildconference.io, and then you look there at the agenda, you'll see there is a couple open spots. And it's because it's not that I ran out of ideas. I'm trying to figure out the best right people to put into those. I also have a marketing session where we talk about how we get some integrations from our marketing systems and process, how we can target very specifically what we're trying to accomplish, and how we can do that in coordination with where the events and activities might be occurring. And so I'll have some marketing discussions. So we're hitting a lot of different areas, but keep coming back to theme is technology available in the restoration industry.
Perfect. That's a lot of sessions. My mind is like, ooh, we have some content like what you were talking about with EcoClaim coming up in some few upcoming issues of CNR, because that is an interesting topic that's coming around. So, okay, so we've talked about the agenda and the speakers. What about networking? People love chatting and seeing people and getting to know more people. So what about networking? What's happening for fun?
So yeah, so for fun. So for fun, we had to just have general open sessions. Part of it, the property itself, I think lends itself to that interest. If you wanted to show up early, there's a really nice golf course. I decided with everything else going on and the fact that I only have so much time and ability on the first year event. Next year I'll hire somebody to take my spot and not have to do it. But the beautiful golf course. There's a nice spa and just kind of there's a spa and a pool that's associated with. If you want to go for some relaxation, you've got that as well. There's great dining opportunities on the property, both just some indoor and outdoor spots. They when I was there and toured the property in the spring, they were rebuilding a couple of their main meeting spaces, not meeting space, but general kind of like the lobby bar, which is a large location, great opportunity for networking there and communicating. And so from just the social standpoint, there's the Texas hospitality, and just a great opportunity there. And the neat thing is, it's okay. Some people would like it or don't like it. It's 20 minutes out of town. You're out, it's an Uber fare. It's a $20 Uber ride. It's not much. Maybe it's not even that much that far out of town. Anyhow, people will be there present at the location. They're not going to leak out during the day to go to their other hotel room or run down to go sightseeing during the day. So I think that's where I think we'll get good opportunity for networking and communication. And because of the venue and the location, we should pretty well take over the hotel. And so I think from those standpoints, it's a great location. It's a Hyatt property, and it's just a beautiful area there. So, and networking, this is the technology is new for everybody.
Mhm.
And if you can find people that just, hey, what kind of things are you doing? What's working in your company? Having those conversations, I think will be healthy. It's just, from the typical opening, we have the opening session where you'll be able to go look at things on the trade show floor and see what's out there. And then from there, hopefully it leads into some good conversations, both with the vendors, but also other restorers.
Perfect. Okay, so I know it's a Hyatt property outside of San Antonio, and it's October 28th
Yes.
through 30th, with the 28th, I believe that's
Yes.
the Monday, and that is the day that there will be a pre-workshop, and then it looks like there's an opening reception that night, a couple of days of our main general sessions all together, and then home in time for Halloween with small children, if you have small children. I
Yes.
feel that.
Yes.
Um, so perfect. Okay, what else do people need
That
to
was
know?
intentional.
Yeah, smart.
That was intentional. Uh, I've got so a couple things. I think that I'm expecting some releases, some information to be released that would be new to the industry, or just I can't speak to those until I get them confirmed up and confirmed.
Yep.
But some technology being released. I'm hoping for some updates to some software platforms that would be released as well during this time. I'm in conversations for that. I potentially have a new software provider for the industry, which may show up. I can't speak to that until I get somebody confirmed, but I may have a new software. And then I have what I call it's kind of an incubators corner. It's companies that maybe are a little smaller, but have a really good idea. And they said, I don't know that I'm ready for this. I said, well, how about let's put you in a spot where it identifies that, yeah, you're kind of new and upcoming, and here's some new technology, and this is some things that could be really helping you scale and grow your company. So I've got three companies that kind of fit that mode, and outside of that, hopefully I'm changing the model and mode of the way that an event might be put on in the future. And one of the things that this is not an invasion of your privacy, but when you sign up before the event, I'm going to send out a questionnaire and say, what technology solutions are you looking for? Not software, but what solutions, what problems do you have? And if as you identify, it'll take you 5 minutes to fill that out. I'll take that data and I'll feed it back to the vendors saying, hey, here's people looking for your type of solution. Perhaps you guys should connect beforehand. And so my expectation is that you may get some emails or phone calls beforehand saying, why don't you stop by and visit me in my booth, or perhaps I can buy you a cocktail, or can we set up a time to meet? So beforehand, we're trying to identify people that need the vendors that are there, and then try to set up some relationships beforehand. And one of the other things we're going to do, and I think this will help networking, but it also helps the vendors, and it helps the people that are on the floor, is we're going to each one of the vendors is going to have a number 3 to 5 brand ambassadors, and I think that we're going to identify them as a pin, and I might say, I love Encircle, ask me more. And so there will be people walking around, you're looking at Encircle, or you're looking at Albi, or you're looking at Magic Plan, that they have brand ambassadors that are going to say, I'm using the program, ask me about it, ask me about integration, working with them, communicating, whatever it is. And so that helps the people on the floor just have some additional conversation that would be relevant to their needs.
That's a really fun idea. I love it. Okay. All right.
It
Well,
sounds complicated. My meeting planner is saying, Phil, are you sure?
I mean, that's why the first year you learn a lot in the first
Yes.
year. I remember
Yeah.
I was part of doing an event, and I think 2017 is when we did it in the industry, and in October, I think it might have been in October, and it was a big learning.
Um,
You learn a lot, and there's stuff you take
yep.
away and ideas you get that are great, and then others where you're like, maybe I won't do that next year, and you get to grow from there. So it will be
Yes. Yeah.
great. Well, Phil, thank you, and congrats on getting this off the ground. So for anybody who is listening, it's Rebuild Conference. rebuildconference.io is the website. You can find out lots of information there. Phil, how do people sign up? How do they get tickets? How do they register? What should they know about that?
Everything is on the website. So registration's on there. If you wanted to be a vendor, you sign up through the website. And there is still some vendor spots. I do have limited spaces. I think there's about 10 spaces left if I'm gonna fill it up. So looking for vendors, looking for attendees, and look for promotional information. There's going to be a nice big ad coming out next month in Cleaning and Restoration Magazine with some details on that, as well as the sponsors and vendors will be sending out emails and promotional stuff over the next 45 days. So keep an eye out in your inbox. And if you have any questions at all, you can send me an email, philip@businessmentors.net, Philip with 2 L's at businessmentors.net. Or just find me on LinkedIn or find me on my socials and reach out. I'd love to hear any feedback or thoughts or questions you have. And yes, you're going to be home before Thanksgiving, or not before. Yeah, it's after Thanksgiving, Canada. It's before Halloween. It's before U.S. Thanksgiving. There's lots of things to kind of navigate through there, and also, which I think some people will be watching. It's the week before elections, so it allows you to get back and go start boarding up buildings downtown, wherever you guys may be. But anyhow, so nonetheless, I think we found a really good landing spot for the event, and there doesn't appear to be a whole lot else going on in the industry right now during that week. So look forward to seeing you there.
I booked all my stuff yesterday, so I will be there. I look forward to seeing you and everyone else as well. So, Phil, thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. I appreciate all the support.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.